beautiful Brenda Mbanyengedeo. Have you ever been offended in church? How did it happen? How did you feel? How did you deal with it? Okay, let us go into a story time. So, years back, I was so active in church activities. I was doing everything humanly possible to see that in church. I would go to church on Sunday. I'd go for morning. I would attend morning glory, online prayers in the morning. Then I would go for cell meetings on Monday and Wednesday. Like, I was very active in church. So usually I'm always in this bubble. I've tied myself in a bubble. Like, when I go to church, I only greet the people that I know or the people that I feel I need to greet. And those I feel I don't need to greet, I actually don't greet them. When I go back home, okay, I just usually don't like associating so much with church people, because I've worked in this industry enough to know how things turn out. But this time round, I'm always attending cell. I'm always in these people's eyes. Like, cell was in Chireka, and then I was attending church in Mokono. So meaning I was always like meeting the same people. So there is this one girl at cell and church. Let me call her P. We take the same route as we're going back home from cell with P. So P starts talking to me. She's an accountant. I'm an accountant. I tell her I'm actually looking for a job, because apparently I was on a job, but it wasn't anywhere related to what I had studied. I was doing concierge. Yeah, I think that that was what I was doing, concierge or customer care. Like, I was working at this particular hospital, and all I had to do was show people around, be nice to people, like help out. I was just doing that. So she's like, okay, all right. The good thing I've known you don't have a job, so if I get any chance to get any opportunities, I'll tell you about the opportunities. So, fast forward, time comes and she calls me. She's like, by the way, do you know A? I'm calling the guy A. I'm like, do you know A? Actually, at his company, he's looking for an accountant. And I suggested your name, and I told him. And he was like, you know what? I suggested your name, and actually P said that I should give you his number. So she gives me the number, and I take the number. Obviously, I call the guy, and the guy is like, you know what, bring on this day and this day, come, bring your papers, do an interview, and we see. I got to that place, do the interview, and I passed it. So he was like, come back this day and this day, and start working. I was like, okay, no problem. So I came back and started working. But then, as I was working, okay, me getting this job, I think I over expected what was going to happen. So me getting this job, in my mind, I felt like this guy was this guy, since we were coming from the same church, so this guy had the same values. Like, he had the same values. He believed in the same things that I believed in. We were drinking from the same source. So to me, everything was fine. Everything was okay. Everything was kawa. So as I'm there, the other workers start saying, hey, like, they were actually scared. They're actually scared. Every little thing they would do, they would be like, oh my God, they're going to cut our money. They're going to cut our money. They're going to cut our money. So one time I asked one of the workers, I'm like, why are you guys always saying scared about cutting your money? Like, do they usually cut your money? So she was like, you're new. You will see. But they usually cut it. But it's fine. So first month, I get my whole salary. Second month, the operations manager does a mistake. Money mistake, like, in simple terms, someone who is working in operations, like, shouldn't be handling money the way she was handling money. I should be the one handling money, but she was the one who was handling money. So she does a mistake doing a job that is not hers, that she has not been requested to do. And then the boss, this guy A, says, you know what, since the mistake was done and it's money related and you should be the one handling money, you're going to pay the money. I'm like, how comes? Because me, the people who know me, I'm very outspoken. You will not step on my toes and I just look at you like that. And I had seen this man, like, okay, the first time I was working with him, I first looked at him like that minister in church, like that person who usually upholds all God's virtues up there. But then, with time I realized, you know what, the guy that I see in church is totally different from the guy that I have here. You get. So I also started showing him that, you know what, if it is like this, then I'm going to give you fire. If you're giving me fire, I'm going to give you fire. So I was very outspoken, and I was talking to him. I was telling him, how comes that I'm the one who's going to pay for a loss that was made by some other person? So he was like, now me as a company, I cannot be paying for these things. Sijui, like someone has to be responsible. Monange, I think he was paying me 500. I was very happy. I left my former job. I was getting 450 Ugandan shillings. And then I came to this particular job, and they had promised me 500. I only got that 500 the first month. That is when I got the 500. Then the other month, I think the loss was over like 400 something. Yeah, that was the loss. And I ended up actually... I'm laughing about it right now, but by that time it wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. So the guy tells me, you're going to pay all this money. I was so angry, extremely angry. I told him, you know what? Cut it on all this month's salary. I was like, no, now let me divide it so that you'll be paying like about 150 every month, like that for 3 months. I was like, okay. I knew, at the back of my mind, I knew this was not going to be my job. I knew I wasn't going to be doing this job. I knew this was a wrong job, like I was in a wrong career. So, fast forward, I get onto this, what is it called? What am I trying to tell you? Fast forward, I get onto this, he pays himself. Then after paying himself, it was like he wasn't okay with people getting much money. So, he was like, you know what, we are going to start pay as you earn, and pay as you earn is a tax, and NSSF. I was like, you man, so you're cutting our money here. You're cutting my money here. And then, all of a sudden, you want me to... don't you want me to go with any money at home? I was like, no, it's not that. And no, this guy was fear religious people. Fear people who have the... I don't know how to say it, but I know you guys also have your own experiences with these church people. And in my mind, I knew I wasn't going to continue with this job. Like, this job was becoming harder than I expected. Obviously, I was getting the money, but the money that I was expected wasn't the one that I was getting. Then there was a lot of pressure coming from work. Like, you would get to work early in the morning and then leave very late in the evening. You guys, before I talk about food, like, we would walk for 15 minutes to go and buy food, going for 15 minutes and coming back for 15 minutes, and then when you get to eat, you're on like already 30 minutes for lunch are done. So that was also a hassle. Like, everything was becoming too much. So this other month, but I think this guy had these very, very bad manners, because there's a time he brought the wife to come and record an advert, and the wife was... Have you ever seen tension? Like, there was a lot of tension between them. Like, the wife would just would just pick up a spoon and put it there, and the guy is so annoyed and angry, and the wife is like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I think I shouldn't have put the spoon there, to an extent that the guy got so angry and left the shooting room. Like, the other guy is, I don't know, I really don't know how to explain this guy to you guys, but this thing actually happened, and this thing, when it happened, it actually drove me back to my shell, and even till now I'm still in that shell. Anyway, I know you guys need to hear how everything ended. So that was the second month. In the third month, I worked. After working the third month, we get to the month ends, and the guy calls up for a meeting and says there is no money. There is no money, you people. Business has not been moving well, so now we don't have money. I think you guys should relax and wait. I had my savings, I was saving, so I looked at it and I was like, you know what? If I continue going to this job, this man has not paid me. Even last month he cut my money, chopped my money. I think I'll get to a point and all my savings are done, and I'll leave that job because I no longer have anything. So I talked to the guy. I was like, but you know, man, why are you saying this? Yet I've been working for a month. I don't have transport. But the other guy is shameless. He told me, he was like, if you don't have transport, you stay with your mom. Tell your mom to give you transport so that you can come home and work. What? What are you talking about? That was so stupid. Oh, I'm sorry to use that word. But it was actually so that. So I told the guy, you know what? If you're not giving me transport, I think by that time I was demanding like 430 something. So I was like, you know what? If you're not giving me that money, I'm actually not going to come to work. So they also left me. I lost my job. So I remained demanding him for my money. Like, give me my money. He wasn't giving me the money. So I got to the pastor. I was like, you know what? I explained everything to the pastor. So when I explained everything to the pastor asked me lots of questions. And with all the back and forth, how much are you demanding, bitchy, stuff like that, the pastor did nothing. Nothing. Totally nothing. I got back to the pastor. I was like he told the pastor that he was going to pay me, and he actually did not pay me. So I told the pastor the guy did not pay me. The pastor was like, okay, if he did not pay you, let me work on it. Till now. Till now they are still working on it, but it hurt me, it affected me. I drew away from church. I started selecting the people that I talked to. I deleted most of the church people's numbers because I was tired of them seeing my statuses. I stopped talking to many people. I resorted to online church. By the way, most of the people who attend online church, I want to believe, it's not that they are bad people, or it's not that they no longer love Christ, but stuff has happened to them that right now they feel the only thing they need to do is attend online church. But guys, that has been the story time of this week. Yeah, this week's episode on Spotify. And hope to see you guys again in another story time, in another podcast. Feel free to share with me what you would like me to talk about, because this is a podcast. I'm only going to be talking, and you guys can interact with me in the comment section, in the interaction section. Now I'm talking about the comment section because when I'm on YouTube, I usually use the comment section, but here on Spotify, it's the interaction section. Guys, please talk to me in the interaction section. Like, how has your story been? Like, have you ever been offended in church? how did it end? But by the way, to make things clear, I'm still in that church. Yeah, it's not that every time you're offended in church you should leave, because these people, they are human beings. They are bound to make mistakes. They are bound to steal. Yeah, so it's not that every time you have to leave church, but sometimes you have to leave church because of the situations and the circumstances behind everything. But that was it. Thank you for listening in.